planning on building out a new network is making sure that you do your homework before. I think the biggest thing that happens often is people just see some shiny screen and they think that this is the best place we should put this. Doing a lot of research and data, there's such a massive amount of data that exists today that use the data to best determine where's the highest traffic within that store, where's the highest traffic within that airport, and use the data to best understand. And then once you select a location, start to understand what's the purpose and what does this have an impact on that consumer's experience? Because it should never be about the advertisement that's going to be displayed. It's more about the experience and the experience at that moment in the day, right? So what I mean is, don't let the ad and the placement and the size be determined beforehand. Let data figure out where, when, and what content to play, and then the advertising should follow last. Yeah, so a lot of trends in data that we're seeing in the out-of-home space, specifically at Lamar with large format billboards, is we're now able to move away from just basic how many cars are driving past to more selling based off of audiences, and then really having that dovetail into creative campaigns that are relevant at that moment. So being able to talk to an audience segmentation and best understand when are they going to be exposed to that out-of-home screen and what creative content should we display with that screen. So there may be high pollen in the area that day, and there may be moms with 2+ kids that are driving past from 2 to 3 during that day. So why not display a Zyrtec ad that really ties in well with that? So the data has really helped us both on the planning side, so best determining when and where to buy inventory, but also more importantly in my mind is how do you use that data to determine what creative content to play based on the audience and based on the environment that they're in. One of the biggest challenges in 2019 for the out-of-home space, there's this big scary word called programmatic. I think a lot of people are jumping to programmatic but not understanding what they truly need. Lamar plays in both the programmatic space with a handful of SSPs and DSPs, but we also work in the traditional agency side. And really what we're finding is what the traditional agencies need is more automation and access to inventory. And the programmatic side of things is really about capturing dollars and capturing opportunities that we would never have the ability to see insights to campaigns. So really, in 2019, it's better education about when and where and what agencies fit in that model, but more importantly, better understanding what is it that they need and how can Lamar specifically provide APIs to real-time inventory or provide APIs to better have our inventory become discoverable and easier to buy. So often we get asked what are the 3 biggest mistakes people make in the out-of-home space, but I would love to talk about the 3 successes that people do. I think because the digital investment, people are starting to better understand the cost of screens, the technology that exists. So you see more people doing their homework on what are the best screens that's going to have the longest life in the environment that those screens are in. So that's the one thing that I've seen change drastically over the last 5 years. Secondly, data. All we hear about is the word data, but I don't think we need to put as much emphasis on data as it's the only way that we can roll out our network. I think data should be used, but there also has to be just you understand your environment, you own that retail space, you may have been in it for quite some time, or you may have lived in that market for quite some time. So don't rely 100% on data. So the success that I've seen is people saying, you know what, intuitively I know that this is the best location because I've been in this space or I've lived in this market for a long time. And then lastly, creativity. I think that we've seen this massive change to not just focus on technology just to have technology's sake, but now we're starting to see more campaigns that they're embracing technology, they're embracing the science behind it, and then marrying in creativity and creating these beautiful campaigns. And that's kind of my passion and my favorite thing is when you blend the 3 together is where truly our medium in the out-of-home space will thrive and continue to grow is when we show our brands how capable the out-of-home space is. And I always jokingly say, no one gets super excited about, did you see that banner ad campaign? People are getting excited about, did you see that great out-of-home campaign? Did you see that beautiful creative and how timely it was, or the technology that was built behind it? So I think that those are the top three things that I've seen the success out-of-home companies make in the space. Regulations are important. Obviously, from Lamar's perspective, we have 3,500 large format billboards roadside, and we have another 300,000 plus screens. I think regulation allows for the environment to be just that. If there were no regulations that existed, there would be hundreds of screens literally, feet apart. But I think regulation also, on the digital side of things, helps keep things safe. I know at Lamar, anytime we deploy a new digital within the market, we have heavy regulations that we have to follow. Keeping ads static for 6 to 8 seconds, having rotation, no motion. So I think regulation really helps keep the industry intact. It also helps competition, but it also helps markets not getting oversaturated. And I think the difference between online and out of home is online there's infinite space, so it's inevitable that you're going to have campaigns that just start to become just not appealing and start to become distracting, where the more limited out of home can be and the regulations that are put behind it, it allows for the best of the best campaigns and the best of brands to come forward and truly utilize the space. I've been attending DSE for the last 9 years now, which it's continued to grow. I've enjoyed watching it go from a hardware to literally a technology to now the audience that shows up. For me, it's being able to see friends that I've made throughout the years attending, which is interesting because we're able to collaborate, whether it's vendors on the floor has continued to evolve over the years, but really kind of share best practices, but then also be able to start to have conversations and do business. We've started a lot of great relationships that have started here at DSE that have allowed Lamar to continue to grow into the future from the technology side. So it's one of my favorite conferences. I used to say it was the little brother to CES, but I think it's starting to rival maybe that twin brother to CES.